Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ado's Playtime. Today, we're going to be playing some Oxygen Not Included. I have played a few colonies of this game, and I really enjoy it. I don't claim to be an expert of any sort or have any kind of uh, experience in building of that nature. I do love builder games, but I've never tried the spaced out version of this game. So we're going to start off mediocre, kind of a medium playthrough, see how far we can get. Hopefully, we can. Our goal will be to make a rocket and send it into the void, but we'll try and get it going right away. So we're gonna go with the classic version, and I've gone through and tried to find the best starting location for myself. And this is what I really want. I wanted something that was geoactive, so we can have lots of geysers and vents to play around with. We're going to definitely do metal rich, because that's so enjoyable when you have enough metals to do the things that you want to do with them. And as far as all these other things, story traits and things of that nature, we're going to go ahead and check all these just because we've never had any experience with them. So we want to play around with everything that we can possibly play with. I'm really excited to get going on this game, so let's jump right in and see where we can go. All right, so here we're going to choose our characters and their traits. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of select the things that we want. We usually want 2 researchers and 1 digger. So we're going to go ahead and click right down here and go right into a researcher, a digger, and a fellow digger as well. We're going to go ahead and re-roll these and see if we can't get something that looks good. So here we go. We've got Ado's Playtime. We have a digger with 9 extra skill points. They have increased construction, which is going to be great for the beginning. So we'll definitely make sure that Bubbles here does most of the building. Decrease in agriculture, meaning that they're going to murder plants, but we'll never have them do that, so that's fine. Converts radiation exposure into calories. That could be convenient as they have a bottomless stomach because they need more calories. We have our researcher here is increased cuisine and decrease food moral bonus, which we don't care, and they're a Luddite, so they have decreased machinery. We're going to call this one Ado's Playtime, and we're going to set off. My favorite part of any of these games is definitely the very beginning here. Oh, look at our poor little dupes trapped in a hole. All right, so if you've never played this game before, which I wouldn't be surprised, there's only a couple mods that I have going. I would have the increased zoom because I do like to look out over the entire map. But right off the bat, I can see we're kind of trapped by this water, so we're going to have to be very careful as we navigate around this. I usually don't like going up first, but we may have to make a water tank right off the bat, and that's fine. Most of what I like to build is a 4 by 4 tiles. So we're going to start by getting these basic resources here. We do not need any of the tutorials because we have played this game before. And we're going to build this out and try to get a little bit of sandstone so that we can get some things built. So with your beginning basic supplies of sandstone, it is time to build a ladder system straight down here. All right, so here we go. We've set up a few things for them to kind of get done as to beginning. We're going to get some of this done. We're going to make this a priority 7 right away, just because we want this tile right here, dug out and constructed at an angle. We want that done first thing so that we can protect ourselves from this water pit that's here. This is a really bad spot that we've got ourselves in to get the first things going. It's going to be really hard with all this water right here. So while they're kind of digging out this stuff and digging out the rest of this, we will dig to right there. We are going to set up some priorities. So we don't want anybody. We're going to disable this for everybody. We're going to disable cooking on everybody. We're going to disable farming on everybody. And we're going to disable ranching on everybody. And the reason for all that is because we do not want certain people doing certain things. So now that it's been disabled for everybody, new duplicants. So we want, excuse me. So we want our researcher to always be doing, Ashkin here, to always be doing research and then doing building and digging after that. We want these two guys to be doing building and digging, and then everything else. Now, one thing we are going to do, we're going to put operating there, actually, and put those as normal, because what that means is they're going to jump off of their research, and they're going to start running on the treadmill later, and we'll get to that in a bit. Once they're done when their batteries are empty, so they can basically power their own research, which, you know, we would want every scientist test to do, right? All right, from there, we're going to set up their schedules. So we're going to add a new schedule here. The first things first is we need to increase the work time and decrease the bedtime, and we don't care about bath time. We want our dupes to get straight to work as soon as they jump out of the printing pod. So this is how our schedule is going to be. So we're leaving that main one there, and we're going to put all of our duplicants 3 at a time on this one. So if a new duplicant comes in, we don't have to worry about their schedule or anything like that. It's automatically right here. Boom, they can get going. All right. So what we're going to do now, though, is we're going to cancel this build so that they stop going down there. We're going to bring this up to here because we want to bring our dupes over here to put a pitcher pump in as soon as possible. All right, so we've queued up a few things here to get them started. They're going to go ahead and dig all this out and get all these things ready. We have our bathrooms installed, and we have 3 beds for our dupes. We want to make sure that they have somewhere to sleep first thing. Can't build a door yet because we don't have any metal, which is fine. They don't really need the rooms bonus right off the bat because if you look at our dupes here, they're already doing really good as far as their morale because they have high morale for New Hopes and just basically being a duplicant. So if you click on their skills on each dupe, so they're getting a current morale of 2 due to the fact that they have New Hope and are a duplicant, and the are a duplicant stays with them. So let's let the dupes get after it, and we'll see what we can do. All right, so as you can see, they've already got their bedrooms done, and we have assigned a cot to each duplicant. So once they get that done, then the next thing is they're going to do all these bathrooms. We've set the priority of these bathrooms at 6, but I'm going to increase it to 7 just because I want them to get that done first, and then I want them to immediately go over and get the pitcher pump done so that we can get water for our water basins, and then they have somewhere to go to the bathroom, and so on and so forth. Now the next plan will probably be is to consolidate some of this water down here and get a tank going right away. The temperature around here is a little bit warm, I've been told. So we actually might consolidate the water over here, also getting us some of that natural copper ore that's over here. Have our big water tank right here, and then have maybe more area for the duplicants to live in here and over here, really opening up this area. We can also kind of transfer that water down and over here before it gets too bad. So what we'll do is, in the meantime, we will replace these bricks with replace these ladders tiles with some brick tiles. That way the water flows over a little bit better. We definitely want to give ourselves a lot of space on each side of these. In the past, I have never done that. I have a 3 tile wide gap all the way up and down, and it never works out. I want to have some tubes to travel and a fire pole to travel, but then also have one space for airflow in the future. That's kind of why I've set these off a little bit here so that I can have everything I want in the future. So if you don't future plan for in this game, you will have a hard time. So as you can see, our dupes are already done with everything, and we have got everything that we need to get going. We're going to set the direction so that they only wash their hands when they're leaving this room. We're also going to put some tiles up here so that this kind of completes this room. We need some metal ore, so I think I'm actually going to go up and into this to try to get us some metal ore. I think that would be the best way to do it. I was thinking about going ahead and digging out our water pit, but I really want to try to figure out a way to get all of that water into here as easily and quickly as possible. The best way to do it is to not get soggy feet on your dupes. And the reason for that is that just gives them a decreased morale bonus, and that is not fun to play with in the early game, as there is really not too many ways that we can get some morale. So we're gonna continue building upward a little bit and go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest out all of this stuff right here and get a nice big chunk of copper. Try to get that copper vein as much as we can and get ourselves some metal to get things started. So, oh, now this is our first time that they're getting ready to eat and go to the bathroom and get ready for bed. So this will be the end of the first cycle. I think we did a really good job getting kind of the basics going. That alert for the germs definitely reminds me that we want to take and disinfect germs at 0. That's right. Food poisoning is just an inconvenience. It's not really something that we really care about. And besides, whoever died from food poisoning? I know I haven't. Felt like dying, though. The next thing I really want to get done is getting some farms going and some research. I can't really do research until I get some metal, so we're really waiting for the next cycle before I can do any of that. Oh, look how peaceful the duplicates look, just sitting there sleeping like little children. They are my children. Wake up and get to work. So one thing to remember about on the priorities is we want to enable proximity. And the reason you want to enable proximity is because it'll keep them from running all the way to do another task that was given to them. They'll stay in one area and continue to take out all the stuff in one area and go to the thing that's closest to them instead of anything else. So now we've got some metal. We can put up some doors. And I just realized that I did this wrong. Awesome. Well, until we actually fix it, we'll just do that. So now we know. I don't know why I put that there. That was silly of me. But, you know, hey, an oxygen. So as soon as we get this water tank kind of going, we're going to dig out the spaces here because I'm noticing that there's not a lot of oxygen moving upward like we want to. And our duplicates are suffering because of that. We want to make sure, too, since we have so much sand in this world, that we're taking out some of the sand as it comes in, because you can entomb a dupe, you can bury them very quickly, and that is definitely not a fun thing to deal with. Not included, you're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay. As long as, you know, you don't kill some dupes. And then you can save scrub, because who doesn't like save scrubbing? I mean, I know I don't have a problem with it. Alright, so we set up a little research station right here. Reason that we did that is because it gives the starting pod gives you some light, so you get a light bonus if you're working in the light. So we're going to give our dupes the best chance to get any kind of research done in a timely manner. So working in a well-lit space is definitely a high priority, and then we're going to get started on the research as soon as it's built. All right, we are preparing ourselves to get that water tank done. I really want to try to go ahead and get that going down here, and maybe we can save ourselves some time. I wanted to shore up this block here. We did some diagonal building. If they're able to reach a block from a 2-point high area, you can build diagonally, and this will just help shore up this area for the short time. Most of this other stuff isn't going to go anywhere, but that sand just kind of made me a little nervous. So now that we have our research area made up, we're going to start in on our research. Now, there is a ton of stuff to research to get to the point of the very end, which is either you can win the game by making a monument or building ships to go places, which we'll get to that when we get to that. In the new spaced out version, there's actually nuclear research that you have to get these drill tops so that you can go and drill asteroids and stuff like that and bring that stuff home. These are a lot of things that I haven't messed with. I've seen a few people play with it, but I haven't really looked into it too hard, and it'll be a learning experience for all of us. So I feel like the first thing we need to do is get this food situation going. So this will help us get the planter boxes to get the initial food, which will be meal lice, and we will go from there. So from here, we're going to continue letting our dupes just kind of do their thing, and we're going to kind of just go from there. Okay, so while I wait for them to get through the second day's cycle here, I'm going to build a few things to kind of keep some oxygen flowing in the area. What you can do to do that is you use your oxygen diffusers here. So I'm going to put one here to keep some oxygen close to that area. I'm also going to build another oxygen diffuser right here and another one right here because I plan on making this into stuff in the near future. Now, the only thing that oxygen diffusers need is power and some algae. Now, we should have plenty of algae, but in our resource tab here, we can look at, and we've got 920 kilograms of algae, but we have plenty of algae to dig up if we need it, as we need it. All right, we got our first bit of research done. So that would be the planter box and all that stuff. So now we're going to go into meal preparation. From there, we can use the mess tables to give ourselves a mess hall and make ourselves a nice kitchen. My plan is to put it kind of right here. There's quite a few different designs for a kitchen, but I've had some tried and true methods that tend to work the best. So we'll be showing those off in just a minute. So we've had a printing pod activation. We're going to go ahead and check this out and see what kind of duplicate we can get, or maybe we won't get a duplicate. So we're going to look for somebody either with a good digging skill or some kind of just other stuff. So right now, we look at this one and we see that they have a skilled in masters, so they're going to have a skill that makes them better at art and stuff like that with a digging of 7. Now a 7 excavation is pretty good to start out with, but the problem is that they are a loud sleeper, which means that you have to give them their own room, and that is not awesome. The next one is going to be this person who's just a general grunt. They can probably do just about anything. Yeah, we could use them as a grunt, and that's great. They can't do any attack errands, which isn't very good, but they do have an increased construction, which might be handy. This one is athletics, and so they're going to be a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, and they don't really have anything else. Now, this would be a really good person to use for a grunt. So we're going to select Nails here, and we're going to print them, and we're going to welcome them straight onto their face onto our new home here. So what we're going to do with them right away is with Nails, we are going to prioritize supplying and operating. So we're going to take operating off of the researcher here and make sure that supplying and operating are their two big things that they're supposed to be doing. We're also going to give them a little bit of tidying up to do, and once all that's done, they can help out with the building, the digging, and all that other stuff. So we're also going to set them up on a new schedule because we don't want more than 3 dupes on a schedule at a time. It causes a lot of problems with going to the bathroom and things of that nature. So you want to schedule their downtime differently. So 1-2 downtime as always, and 1-2 bedtime. Now some dupes will get a bonus when you look at the schedule here. They'll get a bonus for being a night owl, so they like to be up and working. And then there's others that have a bonus for being an early bird and things of that nature. So it's something to definitely take a look at. So Nails, welcome to the team. Please get straight to work. Also, now that we have all of our oxygen generation going, we're going to hook this up to that, and it's going to immediately start being ready for power, and hopefully Nails here will go up there and put some stuff into those. Yep, there we go. And Nails is the first one to get up there and get some stuff into. So he's picking up that algae and he is supplying all that stuff. Ashkin is doing the same, but that's because Ashkin isn't researching anything. So the next thing we want to get into is better power generation. We want this coal power to create some carbon dioxide that we're going to use to help keep our food stable longer. So that'll be the next course of action for him. So hopefully he'll get right to that. All right, so we got all of our storage bins here already selected. We're going to make all of these sweep only. And then under all of these things, we're going to kind of like select the things that we want in here. Let's say we want coal and oxalite. That seems like a good choice. We don't want any critter eggs in it. We'll take and put some dirt in there in case it gets in there. Some sand, because I know we have tons of it. The copper that we have. We'll put some algae in it if that happens to be there. Sandstone. Yeah, we'll put the mealwood seeds in there too. So we're gonna definitely, we'll take fertilizer. You know what? We'll take everything except for the critter eggs. We don't want the critter eggs actually. So now that this is set, we're gonna copy the settings, put it across here. We're gonna take our sweeping thing, and we're gonna sweep all that stuff up. Oh, that's the mop. Yep, I didn't make that mistake. Not at all. Sweep tool. Go for it. Let's get that stuff somewhere. What do we got here? Storage not available. So we don't have much selected in this. Awesome. We want all of the edibles in here and all of that in there. There. Now they can take all that stuff in there. Now, we're starting to get some breathable oxygen down here because of this. We definitely have them in the right spots. All right, so I'm going ahead and putting in a new battery here because I just want a little extra power generation because we are using quite a bit now with the oxygen diffusers. So I want to try to store up a bit more power. Now, the bad thing about these generators or these batteries is that they're going to create a little bit of heat. So we have to take a careful watch of our heat. Oh my gosh, that geyser is... We need to cap that geyser off probably as soon as possible. We're going to have quite a bit of heat on this playthrough. So temperature management is a big piece of the game that we have to get going. We have plenty of calories to kind of get us through. The nutrient bars are gonna keep us for a long time, plus that muck root. And there's tons of muck root to dig up throughout this. So, and we have some bristle blossoms and some other things. One thing that would be nice is if you just go ahead and auto harvest a lot of this stuff. Get it kind of prepared so that when you find it, you can eat it, and they harvest it. All right, so we finished our second set of research here too. So let's see what we want to go into next. Next, actually, we would really like some smart batteries and some automation. Automation is key to making things happen as far as making sure that the batteries don't sit there and run. The next thing is we'll probably try to get metal refinement. We need to get the rock crusher because we need some refined metals to make smart batteries, which is right here. But we'll have to go with the advanced research first. So kind of got a plan of attack. We definitely want to keep things moving. All right, so what I've decided to do is make this area my great hall. Okay, so we're going to build a small pit here. That's about a 3-tile pit for our CO2 pit. Now what this is going to do is if it's 3 tiles, all right, so this is the main floor here. It's going to butt right into it. I've actually got that 1 tile off. And eventually we're going to have things that are about the size of a storage bin right here. And they're going to be able to put their food in it. Now, what I like to do personally is put a little bit of ladder across there. That way they can walk back and forth. And they only have this 1 tile hop here. It still keeps our room at the size that we want it. Oops. You didn't see that misclick. The way we want it. Now, on the back side of this, we're going to continue. And this will be our kitchen area. So we can take a door. Put a couple doors here. We're also going to We're gonna go ahead and cancel out this digging after she gets done, after Bubbles gets done finishing that. And we're going to go ahead and make our mess hall here. Put a couple of doors. That's all we need. And this becomes its own separate room. Under furniture. There it is. All right. And we're going to put 5 to start out with right there. We're also about to get another blueprint in probably a few more seconds. So we want to have our dupes bed ready for them so that they can get a nice cozy sleep as soon as they get in. So we'll wait for all this to get built up, and then we'll go from there. So see, we're angle digging right there, which is great. Honestly, we didn't lose any resources because of the fact that it's going to pop up on top, because that's what it does. And they're going to continue digging away at this. So one thing that is personally a personal quirk of mine that I just kind of do because of the fact that I don't enjoy it. The dupes will sometimes jump on top of another door to jump over. Now, I personally don't like that, so I end up locking them. Another thing that I do is I leave the doors open. It just saves a few seconds to not let that timing go through. It doesn't stop anything from, being a room or anything of that nature, but I just prefer these things to be locked and opened as often as I can. Like I said, these are mesh doors, so oxygen is going to flow through these mesh doors and all that. And having the door open doesn't do anything. Now, we do have a shine bug here, and they will disturb the sleep of the duplicants. So we're going to attack them, and we're going to put that as a priority 8. So we're going to definitely make sure that those shine bugs go bye-bye. It's definitely not good to have your dupes interrupt their sleep. See how he just walked through that door, Joshua here? He just walked on top of that door. It's just a bit of an annoyance to me. I just don't like it. I would prefer them not to do that. So that's why we're going to lock these doors. They'll get to it as soon as they have time. I'm sure our operations person will do it when they have a moment to do it. All right, so we just finished our coal generator here, and we do, under resources, let's see all, we do have 280 kilograms of coal. Now, we don't need much to get started, but what we're going to do is we're going to connect this coal generator to our power grid. We're going to tell them to, when it's at 50%, we'll leave it at default. That's fine. It's not going to hurt anything right away. But what we're going to do is build a power cord that comes over here. And I know that it's going to be a little bit ugly, but if you build it through the floors, they'll dig up the floors, and I don't want them to do that right now. So we're going to bring this across and connect it there. Actually, we're not going to connect it there just yet. We're going to get it ready to connect, and then we'll see what's going on now. Let's let the dupes get their rest, and we're about to have a printing activation. I'll probably jump in as soon as we get that printer pod activated. Now, we're waiting to make our kitchen because I want to try to trickle this water down back behind here and all the way down and into our pit here. So we finished up our research here. The next thing we're going to do is to make sure that we get some of the rock crusher going. We need the rock crusher to get some fine metals so that we can do some other things. Plus, it gives us the water cooler, which can make our mess hall into something, into a great hall. You need one thing. You need the water cooler and one piece of morale. Morale things are like potted plants, hanging potted plants. We'll probably actually go for the hanging potted plant. I feel like that's just kind of a little bit better because it's out of the way. It's up high and it doesn't take up a space. If you use a potted plant, it takes up one space that you could use for this. So here, and as soon as that research is done, oh, we have a printer pod activation. So let's check out our blueprints here. So we have Rust. We also have Quinn here, who has a skill in art, an iron gut, and is squeamish, meaning he can't do Dr. errands, which he would make for another good grunt. We also have a doctor, which, man, you know, whatever. We don't really need a doctor right now, nor really do you ever. It's kind of player's choice if you really want to. I never tend to do this. You can just lay a dupe in the bed and they heal automatically. I really don't like either of these two dupes. So what we're going to take is the salt water, even though we don't really need it, but we can turn that salt water into something cool later in the late game. So when you pick a resource, it just comes up on right here at the gate. I personally prefer to sweep this stuff up in front of the gate because I just want to see what's there and what I have and so on and so forth. So you can see here Ashcan is now running on the treadmill because I kept running out of power. The reason that I kept running out of power was because Nails here is on his break right before he goes to bed. So I changed Ashcan's priorities a little bit to do the operating so that he can fund his own research. And, you know, funding your own research is always a good thing to do. I definitely want to put this on a level 6 and hook it up to our power grid so that we can get this thing pumping power even when everybody's asleep, pumping it into there, as well as filling up our thing here for the CO2 pit to get our ration boxes in here. So, all right, so we just got the water cooler. So this room here is 16 wide. So what we will do is we will take our water cooler and put it as in the middle as we possibly can. And then still don't have the hanging plants yet, but we'll get there. Hey everyone, I'm so sorry for the sudden cut in scene, but I did realize as I was editing the video that I had recorded far too much and I needed to cut it a little short. So if you do like what you see, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help the channel out. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can also be alerted every time that a new Oxygen Not Included or any other video that you've been watching. I hope you enjoyed what you're seeing and you'll come back for some more.